Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of Blood Gamble by Melissa F. Olson, performed by Amy McFadden. Prologue. Pasadena, California, 4 years ago. The girl in the cell paced and paced, trying to ignore the new signals from her body. Everything hurt, and the blasted emptiness in her belly cried out, for food, of all wretched things. She screamed with frustration, smacking her palms against the bars of the cage, but that hurt too. How did anyone do this? How did those fragile little humans survive in these soft shells of skin and blood? She hated it. She sat down once more on the bed, huddling under the thin cotton sheet. The cold was another old, new experience she now had to endure. The basement cells weren't damp. She had to give him credit for that, but they were eternally cold. As the grave, she thought maniacally, and laughed at her own joke. They had given her a plain shift to wear, little more than a glorified sheet. But it was better than the torn and shredded cocktail dress she'd arrived in, which lay discarded in one corner, still covered in blood. Blood that now meant nothing to her. It no longer knew how to call her name. It was all his fault. He had come to her several times, her John. She refused to call him by the name he now used. Each time, he would silently draw her blood into syringes, check her pulse and her pupils, and depart without a word, leaving behind a tray of food, like a final slap in the face. At first, she refused to cooperate, kicking and scratching with her frail human body, but he'd calmly pressed her mind to make her obedient. Imagine that, being pressed by a vampire. Was there no greater humiliation? She had decided she would rather be still than be used as a puppet. But whether or not she submitted, her time was running out. When he completed his tests, she knew that her long, turbulent life would end. All those years, the days and nights spent with distinguished men, the child she'd borne, the efforts she'd made, first to be with greatness, and then to be great herself. She had had so many adventures, so much passion. She had saved vampires from themselves. She knew she had. But no one would give her any credit, and now they never would. After that, after her one heroic attempt to alter the current of history had ended in a sort of meaningless success, there had been years and years of sulking in her rotting mansion, trying to devise a way to regain relevance. Then an opportunity to stage a coup had fallen into her lap, and there seemed to be a sort of poetry to it. After all, John had brought her into all of this. He had been her maker. Wasn't it only fair that she unmake him in return? She had come so close. She lost track of time in her cell. Of course, her body suddenly required sleep, like a common animal. But after perhaps 3 or 4 days, John came again, with no tools this time. No tray of food. She knew he would be able to smell the fear that this provoked in her, but she held her chin high. She would show him nothing. "So, you've had enough of playing mad scientist?" she said crisply. "Did you figure out what that creature did to me?" He looked at her with eyes that hadn't aged, but which had become ancient all the same. "You know what she did, Claire," he said in his quiet way. "She's cured you." She snorted. "Cured? Cured? I cannot believe you would say such a thing after all we have been through. As humans, and then as vampires. After all I have done for you."